Well, there's some important changes starting to happen here on the homestead. We want to show you guys around today and fill you in on some of the details of things that are happening. We've got some exciting things about to come up this spring, and we want you guys to be part of it.
Let's get started in the greenhouse.
Well, we're excited to show you guys what's going on here in our new unheated greenhouse that we put up just really a few weeks ago. We have this big raised bed in here. We've got part of it planted and part of it we're waiting for the weather to warm up a little bit. But let's show you what's going on here. Now, we did show you in a previous video that we had put some transplants down on this end. We had some broccoli, cauliflower, and cabbage that right after we put it in the ground, we got a pretty hard freeze, and some of those did sustain some damage from that because we didn't protect them enough, but they're all bouncing back and doing great. We actually got a second freeze after that, and what we did is we came out that night and we actually took some of these ice cream pails, put them upside down over each of the plants to give them some extra protection, and that time they didn't get any more damage from the cold weather. So that is good news. And like I said, they're all coming back really well. I think the most exciting part about this garden, though, is the fact that we've been able to get seeds to germinate even in the cold part of the winter. So even while we've had this cold stretch, we've been able to plant seeds directly in the soil and get them to germinate. And they're actually doing, I think, better than the transplants did. You can see right here we have a patch of radishes that we planted from seed. We've actually had to thin these out already, but look how strong and healthy those plants look. They are just doing amazing. And the week that these germinated was actually the week that we had that big freeze where it got down into the single digits. Over on the other side, we have some lettuce coming up from seed. Let's go take a look at that. So over here we actually have 4 squares of lettuce planted. Now in this garden we're doing the square foot gardening method, which basically means you plant your plants in a 1 foot square. So we have a square foot here, a square foot here, square foot here, and square foot here. This lettuce you guys can probably see pretty good. It's coming up and it's looking great. Now this also germinated during that really cold stretch. Over here there's actually a lot of lettuce coming up as well, but it's a dark colored kind of reddish lettuce. You probably can't see it very well on the video, but there's a lot of it coming up. It's doing just as well as this green stuff over here. One thing that we've always struggled with in all of our gardens is cilantro, because our weather gets so warm that it seems to bolt really fast. But we put this in here over the winter now, and look how great the cilantro is doing. We'll be able to harvest some of this pretty soon, and because the weather's staying cool, I don't think it's going to bolt nearly as quickly as it would out in the main garden, so that's exciting. We also have some spinach over here that's doing really well, and then in this back corner we have some turnips. We actually have other things planted that are just starting to come up from seed over on the other side. Let's go over there.
Now just under a week ago, Kevin and I planted a big area along this side with seeds. It's actually 2 rows, 12 feet each row, so 24 square feet of seeds. And a lot of these are already coming up. You can see we've got lots of nice germination here. These are turnips, and they're already coming up. We planted turnips, the beets, which haven't started coming up yet, radishes, which are just now starting to germinate, and also some spinach, which hasn't quite gotten there yet, but we're really excited how well this unheated greenhouse is producing food and germinating seeds. We would have never imagined that it could be so cold and these seeds could germinate. So pretty soon we're gonna have a ton of food. But I also, a while ago, planted some seeds in some of the buckets we're going to be having in here. I want to show you the progress that they've made. In this bucket, I have planted carrot seeds. Now, carrot seeds always take a long time to germinate, so it's actually really hard for me to be patient and wait for them to come up without thinking something is wrong. But they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. But you can see on top of here, we've placed a sheet of plastic. And we put that on here just to have another layer of kind of the greenhouse effect. It will warm up the soil even that much more, and it will help hold in some of that moisture to hopefully get those seeds germinating more quickly. But I'm going to uncover this because this morning I've been very happy to find out that the carrot seeds are finally starting to germinate. They're so cute. They look like little pieces of grass when they start germinating. So before you know it, we're gonna have nice big carrots in here. We're gonna be planting more buckets than just one bucket of carrots. But I'm so excited that finally these are starting to germinate in an unheated greenhouse. That's pretty awesome. But another thing I'm really excited about are my sugar snap peas are germinating, and they're up about an inch already. I don't know why I'm so excited about these guys this year, but as soon as they broke through the ground, I was so happy. And I can just imagine all of these little plants growing real tall and having nice pea pods that we can pick off and eat in our salads, or really probably not even make it to the house because they're so good when they're fresh. This is just so exciting, you guys. I can't even tell you how happy I am to be growing in the middle of the cold part of the year, to be providing food for our family, not just in the warm parts of the year, but also to have fresh homegrown veggies in the winter.
So while we're back in this area, let's go visit Hope. So we wanted to give you guys an update on Hope, our Jersey cow. She is doing great. If you've been following us for a while, you know that she is pregnant. We actually had artificial insemination done for her in the fall, and it took 2 times, but finally got her pregnant, which means she should be having a baby sometime in September. She's loving this nice cool weather that we're having. I actually think she likes winter better than summer because there's no flies around, and in the summer the flies can be quite a nuisance to her. Now, I know some of you had concerns on the video that we did where we were taking her to the vet that we had her hooves trimmed, and a lot of you were concerned that that looked awful rough and that maybe she would lose the baby because of that. It was actually on the advice of our vet that we waited until after she was pregnant to bring her in to get her hooves done. They said it would be less stressful. We shouldn't stress her out before she got pregnant. It would be better if we waited till after she was about 45 days pregnant and then bring her in to have her hooves done, and everything would be fine. And we haven't seen any indication that that affected the baby in any way. She hasn't come into heat, so we're happy that she's still doing well. She loves getting her scratches for the day. It's kind of like having a 1,000-pound dog that gives you milk. She's a good girl.
Well, one of our goats is over here, so we do want to give you an update also about some changes that we're going to make with our goats. So let's go over here. On our homestead, we have kept Nigerian dwarf goats since as long as we've been here, and at our urban homestead in the Phoenix, Arizona area. We absolutely love these goats. When we got Hope, our milk cow, we thought it'd be a great idea for the goats and the cow to live together. They can share hay and all that kind of thing, but we've been realizing some challenges with having them live together. And this that you've just seen is our biggest challenge. The goats are using the hay as a place to lay, to get out of the rain, which it's starting to rain right now, and thunder. But they're ruining some of our hay, and they're wasting a bunch of it. They don't eat some of it once they've been trampling on it, and the cow also doesn't. So Kevin and I have made some decisions that are going to be coming up here pretty soon. we're going to be separating the goats from the cow. We're going to be fencing off an area of this cow pasture for them to live separately from Hope. We wished that this would work. We thought we could make it work, and I guess it just isn't. So you're going to be seeing some changes coming up here soon on the homestead in regards to the goats and the cow. But I gotta get out of the rain. Did you survive the rain? Did you survive the rain shower? Well, we're in between rain showers. There's another one coming, so we're gonna get talking and showing you more. So I just wanted to wrap up that because of the troubles we've been having with the goats getting into the hay, we've made some changes in how we're gonna keep them. We're gonna keep them back here in this area where we keep Hope, but we're gonna separate off the front portion of this section here and keep the goats in here. Right now we have some temporary houses that we can bring out here so that they can get away from the rain and away from the weather until we can build something bigger, much like our duck house for them. But we have a long list of projects that we're in the middle of. We're going to talk a little bit about some of our weather struggles, and that's kind of pushed us back with a lot of our projects this winter. But this is one of the big changes and updates that we have for you today. The goats and the cow just need to be separated. Now I do also want to mention that one of our goats, Princess, has injured her leg, and we think maybe it's from jumping up into the hay feeder. So right now we have her separated into one of the kidding pens by the metal barn so that she can rest and recover there before coming back with the other goats. But we do love our Nigerian dwarf goats. Having them for milk isn't as much of a priority anymore because we have Hope and she gives us so much wonderful milk. But we do still love the goats. It's very possible that this spring we will downsize our herd now that we have Hope, who's providing us with some really wonderful milk and lots of it. We really don't have as much of a need to have a lot of goats on the homestead. We've already started downsizing a tad bit. We've already downsized by 1 female and 1 male, and we may be thinking about letting a couple more of our female goats go in the near future. Well, we need to move on before the next round of storms come. We've got some really dark skies coming our way.
So the next thing that we wanted to talk to you guys about is all of this mud and the effect that it's having on what we can get done over the winter. You can see that our ground is completely saturated. In fact, beyond saturated. Since the beginning of the year, we've gotten over 8 inches of rain here in our part of the state, and it's just causing a big problem for us getting projects done on the homestead. You can see what's happening from me driving my tractor. In fact, for about the past month, I've only been able to use the tractor to when Hope needs a new bale of hay because we have no choice but to use it then. But driving the tractor just about anywhere is just causing so much damage because the ground is so soft. Normally, winter is a very productive time of year for us. It's the time of year where we're not busy in the gardens and we're not busy raising animals. So normally that's the time of year that we're doing a lot of big building projects on the homestead, repairing fences or putting up new fences if we need to. But this year we just haven't been able to get out to do it because we've had so much rain. And when it's not raining, it's so muddy that it's just slowing us way down. Now, we don't want to just dwell on negative things. There's always a way to work around things. So recently we've added something to the homestead that will help us over the wet times of year, and that will give us a place to be able to do some projects even when it's raining outside. And that leads me to the last thing that we want to talk to you guys about today, and that's a pretty big addition to the homestead.
Take a step into the river, get down on your knees, come to the mountain, well take it in the view. You will find that life is greater than you knew. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight, I will fight. Oh, you're broken and you're shattered at the point of no return. You pick up the pieces and you let the bridges burn. So come to the water, you're sailing with the breeze. Take a step into the river, where you will find peace. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight. Oh yeah, I will fight. When you go through the storm, I will hold you, keep you warm. When you stay in the night, I will shelter, I will fight, I will fight.
So here is the newest addition to the homestead. You can see just a couple days ago we got this delivered, and this is going to make some major changes to things around the homestead. Let's go inside and we'll tell you more about it. It's a 12-foot by 24-foot lofted barn. This is going to change a lot of things on the homestead. Come on inside and we'll talk to you about what those changes are. So as you can see inside of this building, half of this is going to be for me to have a workshop. Currently, I don't have a real good workshop here on the homestead because either the buildings that we have are used for animals or they're too wide open to the environment to be much of a help. So this is going to be an awesome place for me to be able to do projects over the winter and during rainy weather. I have used our greenhouse, the greenhouse that we have for plant starts, and I've been able to do some projects in there over the winter. The downside to that is it just has a normal 3-foot door, so I can't do anything very big because I can't get it out. This has 6-foot wide doors, which is going to be able to allow me to do some better projects. One of the first things that I'm going to have coming up soon is building some new chicken tractors, but because of all the rain, I've kept putting that off because they'd be too wide to get out of the greenhouse. But now that I have this building, I'm going to get started on those very soon. Another thing that we're really excited about with the addition of this barn is the added storage that we're going to have. We have a pretty small house and storage is always an issue. Not to mention just all the extra animal things that we have, and you know, buckets and hoses and all of those things. We'll now have a much better place to put those. But that's not the most exciting part of this building. There's another big change that's going to happen because of this building. We're going to talk to you about that down on this end.
So this other part of this barn will be used to store our animal feed. And that is really important to us because we've finally made the decision to switch our animal feed over to non-GMO feed, which is something that has really been tugging at our hearts for quite some time now.
So we've been contemplating switching to non-GMO feed for quite a long time. In fact, when we lived in Arizona, we were able to get chicken feed that was had no corn and no soy in it. And even though it wasn't organic, we felt good about it because it didn't have a lot of those GMO ingredients. But since we've been in Missouri, it's just been way too expensive for us to afford non-GMO feed. And because we didn't have a place to store it in bulk, bulk ordering just wasn't an option.
There are two main reasons why this building was important for us before we got the non-GMO feed. The other areas that we have to store animal feed just are not secure enough. They're not watertight enough. The pole barn that we are storing the feed in right now has a metal roof and it drips condensation like all the time right on our bags of feed. Plus there is just a lot more access to our bags of feed to rodents there, and because it's an open barn there really isn't a whole lot we can do about that except for set traps and have a cat, which we actually, there's a wild cat hanging around here to help with rodent control, but we really feel that we can control that a lot better and a lot more in this type of barn.
Right, so this whole end of the barn will be for storing feed. We'll buy probably a ton or just a little more than a ton of feed at a time, which really shouldn't be a big deal. We'll go through that pretty quickly, and this way it'll bring the cost down because we're buying in bulk, and we'll finally be able to afford to feed all non-GMO feed to our animals, which is gonna be a win for the animals and a win for the health of our family.
Well, you guys, we hope that you enjoyed hearing about all the updates we have here on the homestead. Hopefully one of these days it'll dry out a little bit more so we can show you lots of things that we have coming up outside.
Soon we need to get to work on our big in-ground garden, but I can't even get the tractor in there to think about tilling until we get some dry weather. So we'll be praying that God gives us some nice dry stretches here soon, but until then, we're going to keep working, we're going to keep getting things done, and we're going to keep moving closer to our goal of raising all of our own food and being as self-sufficient as we can. We hope you guys are enjoying our channel. Remember that the best way you can help support us is by sharing our videos on all of your social media with people that you think would enjoy it. And until next time, thank you so much for stopping by the homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.